Would you like to know more?
So for those of you who are familiar with my content, you'll know that I'm no stranger to Glocks. In fact, I'm kind of known for doing all sorts of dumb things to them. Like this. Or this. Or this. Well, my friends, today is going to be absolutely no different, but before we jump into that, let me go ahead and tell you what the goal here was. So the basic premise here is that I wanted something that was going to be super lightweight, super compact, able to be shouldered, able to be holstered as well, hearing safe, no batteries required, and ultimately something that's just going to be super easy to just grab and go and be ready to rock and roll at a moment's notice. Mostly in the context of being a woods walk gun or a ranch gun or anything of that context where you never really know what you might run into. Now all that criteria doesn't really leave you with a lot of options. You have some very fine choices such as the B&T TP9 or their USW, but honestly I found both of those to be just a little lacking. So what did we end up with? What do we have here? Well, this is just your standard old Glock 17, except we've taken it a little further beyond. So indeed, what we have here is just a basic stock Glock 17 MOS with a bunch of odds and ends added onto it. Now, the biggest addition is going to be the Flux Brace itself, right here. This is just a brace, not a stock. As you can see here, it says very clearly not a stock. And if it says so, so it is. So the brace is really just a marvel of engineering. It's incredibly simple, but incredibly effective at what it does at the same time. And I'm a huge fan of that. So these braces come in all shapes and sizes at this point. They started out with just a couple of them, but now they make them for pretty much everything. They make them for your 9s, your 10s, your 45s, your Gen 3, 4, and 5. They're really cranking these out. It would not surprise me if they have a P80 version available sometime soon with the rate at which they're developing them. But then if this is for a woods walk, why didn't you go with a 10 mil? Shut up. So how does this whole thing work? Well, as you can see here, the assembly is fully collapsed and under spring pressure right now. It does have cutouts for either left-handed or right-handed sides. I'm left-handed, so that allows you to grip it properly like an actual pistol with your dominant hand and still be able to use it. And there's a little lever right here which interfaces on one of the brace arms. There's a cutout for it right there that essentially you push this down, that pops that up, and that releases all the pressure. And this is a left-handed variant. The lever's on the left-handed side for freaks like me, but most of them that you'll find are going to be on the right side. You can get them in either one. So you press that, and there's a little spring underneath. Pushes the whole thing out and locks it right in place without you having to do anything. There's no folding, there's no pulling out, there's nothing. You just press the lever and you are good to go. And one thing you will notice is it's a little, well, short. Not many people are aware of the current laws on the books, but the ATF has specified that there's a 13.5-inch length of pull requirement for your braced pistols. Anything more than that technically counts as a stock because ATF, but them's the rules, so this is as long as it's going to get. Could they make it longer? Yes, absolutely they could, but they wanted to stick to the legal requirements, so it's just a little short. Not unreasonable, not unmanageable. You can definitely work with it unless you're a 6'8" giant like Hickok, but for us regular folk, you can make do with it just fine. So how is it for durability? Well, a lot of people seem to think it's really flimsy, really poorly designed, not well made, not sturdy at all. That is just anything but the truth. This thing is rock solid. So how is it attached? It clamps onto the frame of your Glock. It's a very tight fit. So again, you're not going to be able to use it with different generations than it's designed for, or your P80s, but you know, keep your ears to the ground on that one. But clamps onto it very tightly. And then in the instance of the Gen 4s and 5s, the pin right here for the back straps, it just secures via a pin right there that holds the whole thing in place. And I've dropped this thing plenty of times, both intentionally and unintentionally, and it's fine. Like, this is, I'm not going to beat the hell out of it, but it's fine. Your basic PDW style collapsible stocks for ARs or MP5s or whatever use the same style of setup. They have two rectangular pieces of steel coming out, and yeah, this is really hard to mess up, is what I'm saying. Then to collapse it, you just press that same exact lever because it is locked in place at that same junction, and then just give it a little love tap and press in. And there you go, you're nice and stowed. So next up we've got a dual illumination RMR. This one is the amber dot. I didn't go with green for what I hope would be obvious reasons for outdoor use, seeing as how I don't live in the desert. If you do, well, your mileage may vary. But I went with the dual illumination because it doesn't require batteries. It works on a light collecting strip as well as some tritium inserts, and the dot is just always on. And people give these a lot of crap for the dot not being bright enough or washing out in whatever circumstances. I have not had that issue, not one bit. It has been 100% fantastic, and I have zero complaints about it whatsoever. And also, of course, it being an RMR means it is phenomenally durable as well. So further forward still, we have the Flux Defense Flashmag. Now this thing is just super neat. It does so many things. Let me explain. So first and foremost, the obvious one, holds a spare magazine, right? Keeps all your ammunition nice and tight and on deck, ready to go in case you need more, or if you just want something to hang on to. But don't do that. It's not a foregrip. You see, it says right here, not a grip. So then it's called the Flashmag for a reason. It's also inbuilt with a 1000 lumen, at least on the turbo setting, little O light crammed in there. It's actually very small, very compact. I like it quite a lot. A lot of people really don't like O lights, especially for their questionable marketing practices. But that's neither here nor there. This is the only one I've ever had. I'm not going to be paid to say anything negative or positive about this. I've had no issues with it whatsoever. It has been phenomenal, super duper bright, and just really a really convenient package. Now, as far as using the light goes, it's just a little button that sits right here, and that is swappable to either side depending on your handedness. I'm left-handed, so when my right support hand wraps around the not a grip, your thumb is going to naturally want to sit right where that indentation is. It's just a press on, press off sort of deal. It's not a constant on, which some people have some issues with, but me personally, I don't care all that much. So this actually takes a magnetic charger. You can access the port from either side. You just slap it in there. It'll glow either red or green depending on if it's charging or charged. And you just let it go and then just yank it off when you're done and you're good to go. Just the whole thing, super convenient. Could not sing its praises enough. And I haven't had any issues with battery leakage or failures under recoil or anything like that. No issues with it whatsoever. Now you might think that's all, but there's actually one other thing that this Flashmag does, and that's compatibility with the holster here. So something this bulky, this big, and especially with an optic and silencer attached, that's a little hard to holster properly, unless you have some sort of attachment that a holster would interface on. And that's exactly what this holster does. Actually interfaces on a little cutout on that Flashmag itself, keeps the whole thing nice and tight. Again, zero complaints. I absolutely love that. The retention on the holsters is not the best. It's probably the weakest link in the whole chain of this whole thing, but that's really my only complaint. Like, if you yank on it a bit, it'll come out. But all things considered, that's not really so bad. And I have done a few modifications to make this one left-handed friendly. Their standard ones are, well, they don't do that. So that could be a result of my meddling with it. It could be like that from the factory. I couldn't really tell you. All I know is mine's like that. Then topping things out, of course, we have the Silencerco Octane 9, although you can use any old can you like. This is just one that I happen to have with a Silencerco threaded barrel. With your subsonic ammunition, your 147 grains, etc., that makes this entire package hearing safe at the shooter's ear for a substantial amount of rounds. So you put that all together into one neat little package, and you've got just a wonderful, truly wonderful little setup here that is just super lightweight, super handy, real quick into action, hearing safe, no batteries required, just phenomenal little package. So why don't we see what we can actually do with this thing? We're at about 20 yards or so. Let's give it a shot. See, I originally had this on a Gen 4 Glock, but due to the left-handed brace covering up the slide release there, I needed a Gen 5 to actually have access to that. Haven't sighted in on this yet, so oopsie whoopsie. I think I've got it pretty much on now. Let's see how it does. No, I don't. I do not. Yeah, that is... where the hell these are going. Probably should have done this ahead of time, huh? Going by the iron sights on this thing, I think I've kind of got it lined up. I'm kind of flying blind here. Oopsie. Well, this is embarrassing. Alright, I really don't know where these are going. It's frustrating. It's very frustrating. I kind of assumed it would just be on since the Gen 4 was spot on with this, but that is not the case apparently. So we got an empty mag. I think we've got another one right here. Really? I see, said the blind man. That dot needs to come over this way quite a bit, and down, quite a bit down. There's an adventure zeroing on the fly. Let's see. Yep, still low and to the right. Yeah, he's still way low. Way low. I think I might finally have it sighted in. Let's give it a shot. Alright, little leaf, show me the way. Okay, so you still need to come down quite a bit. That seemed like a dead ringer. Okay. This is just embarrassing. I think we got it back on target. Still a little low. I was aiming for the top one. Still a little low, but we're almost there. By the way, I really love these Vector mags. They actually hold 41, which means you got 42 on tap, which is phenomenal. Leaf once again. That seems spot on to me. I don't... You're still a little to the right. And it's still shooting. I keep cranking this thing down and down and down and down, and it's still not quite there yet. It's ridiculous. It should be about where it needs to be. Man. Alright, let's see if we can't get that one just sitting there. Yes, okay, so we're finally on target. Took a little while. That's my fault. I apologize for that. I should have come prepared. I kind of assumed that this RMR would be sighted in already since I had it sitting on a Gen 4 MOS previously with the same Silencerco barrel. Not the same barrel, but the same brand, you know what I mean. But apparently not. Geez, that was 3 feet high. Ridiculous. Completely ridiculous. Anyway, now that we're back on target, let's see what we can do. And we're empty. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this 41 rounds loaded in here. Get that all ready to go. I'm going to shoot as much as I can here until I can't see anymore due to the gas just kind of brapping me in the face here. So let's try that, see how far we get. Alright, here we go. I'm going to say about maybe 10 rounds, but we'll see. You know what? If you do it quick like that, no problemo. The gas kind of gasses the gas away. It makes sense, trust me. If you go slow, you get more in the face. If you go fast, it ain't too bad. Oh, and there it is. Oh. Oh, that's the limit right there. How many did we get through there? We got 6 left in there, so your 30-round magazines, you'll get through one of those, no problemo. My eyes are watering. So just to show you guys that I'm not a complete and utter failure, this thing isn't 100% sighted in yet, but it should be good enough to get a couple cans here. Oh, there's that gas again, but As you can see, once you get the thing sighted in, it's not bad at all. Let's try and finish these off. Actually, you know what? Here's another feature of the Flux Brace. So you can see it has a cutout in the rear here. Mine is cut out for left-handed. They do normally come in right-handed, but I'm a special snowflake, so I need the left-handed one. Let's try and shoot this actually as a pistol. See if we can get it that way. And there you have it. When you actually shoot it all the way out here, away from your face, not quite as much gas. Let's finish this out. Whew. There you have it. Flux, Glock, etc. Cool. So final thoughts. Well, I want to be fair to this thing, and as I want to be fair to it, I'm going to reiterate a couple of the downsides, a couple of the problems that I have with it. Firstly, length of pull. It's short. I've explained why, but that doesn't take away that it is very, very scrunched up. If you're a lankier dude, well, you're not going to have a good time with it. I'm sorry about that, but that's just the way it is. Second, as I'm sure you're more than aware at this point, it is gassy, especially for a left-hander. If you're right-handed, it's not so much of a big deal, but as a left-hander, you are just right in the brap zone. Now, thirdly, and this is really just a very minor, dumb nitpick, but the magazines are not actually in line. I don't know if it's just the legal angle, no pun intended, but these are not parallel. Now, with normal magazines like this, you don't really notice too much, but when you throw some super stendos in there, like 40-round vector mags, you start to really notice it. Tips are almost touching. Gross. So should you look into the Flux stuff? Well, if you want a compact pistol, no, absolutely not. This is not compact, it's not little, comparatively. That said, if you want a pseudo subgun while keeping it a pistol, well, there are not many better ways to do it. Arguably none. Now, what I find most impressive about this whole package with the armor, the brace, the magazine, the Glock itself, holster, with exception to the cam, because I'm not going to include that in the price, this whole thing, right about $1,000. That is phenomenal. Like, you cannot beat that. The USW goes for at least twice that, and you still got to dump more money into it. So if this whole package, right around $1,000, isn't impressive, I don't know what is. So once again, as always, I want to thank all my patrons for allowing me to live my decadent and degenerate lifestyle. I know I can really try your patience at times, but genuinely, I really do appreciate you putting up with me. In case you couldn't see it earlier, after about, what was that, 200 rounds or so? I'm not kidding about the gas face. This is what you're going to be looking like. Not too bad, right? Wink. Hey, where's the KS-23? Where's the KS-23? You done with that KS-23 yet? Yes and no. So it's basically done. The barrel just needs cut down. I've had the stamp for that for quite a while now. But I wanted to get the ballistic information on the shells first with a longer barrel and then cut it. It took 11 months. 11 months to get three of these shells custom made, which is absolutely ridiculous. They were really dragging their feet and they screwed up several times along that process. So, you know, these things happen. But at any rate, we have some shells, we have a gun, we have powder, we have primers, we have everything we need, and we are good to go on this one.